Human centered leadership. What I conceptualize as human centered leadership is described by Maslow's theory of leadership, stating that leaders have deep feelings of empathy and affection for all human beings. Empathy is a human trait involving the ability to understand and share the feelings of other people with compassion. Likewise, Alfred Adler's term of social interest highlights leadership as a feeling of kinship with all other humans. Leader who ventures into unknown areas of service to society to improve the lives of their fellow humans. I want to highlight a great human centered leader, Dr. Ruth Pfau, who changed the lives of people impacted by the infectious disease of leprosy. I still remember the day when I flinched inwardly, as it was hard for me to look at Sabina's deformed hands while she was talking to me about living with leprosy. Sabina said that she is grateful for her good life. Good life? I thought. Sabina's hands were deformed, missing their fingertips. She was also missing several toes on her feet. But when I asked her how she really felt about herself and her life, she replied, if it was not for Dr. Ruthfau, I would be an outcast, destitute, living in the gutters. As a leper, my life would have been worse than a rat's life. The stigma of infection, of leprosy, is ingrained in our minds. This true description of Sabina's misery shook me, and I resolved to look deeply into the life and work of Dr. Ruth Pfau. It was during my research on architectural research project I had the honor to meet with Dr. Ruth Pfau and observe her human empathy in action. Some 60 years ago, when the deformative infection of leprosy was a stigma in every human society, Dr. Pfau emerged as a woman, a human centered leader. Her humanitarian work was and has been a well kept secret for a larger world. I know her tremendous work on ground, what she has done through my project. She was born in Germany in 1929. As a medical doctor, Dr. Rothfau survived under the Nazis during World War II and her family's ordeal in the early post war years. In 1958, Dr. Pfau had an unscheduled stop in Karachi on her way to India due to some visa issues. During that one day stop, her host invited her to the leper colony and she visited their patients in the city. There she witnessed, in horror, the rats eating the numb fingers and toes of leprosy patients whom were living next to open sewers. These people had been cast out of the society as a result of infectious disease and the real stigma attached to it. Dr. Pfau's empathetic heart had compelled her to help the small group of good Samaritans who were taking care of leprosy patients. She was not able to walk away from the plight of these human beings and to continue with her life. That visit in 1958 changed the course of her life and, more importantly, changed the destinies of countless leprosy patients, such as Sabina, who were living in the most inhuman conditions. Dr. Pfau gave them back their human dignity. Dr. Pfau dedicated herself to the eradication of leprosy in South Asia. including Pakistan and Afghanistan, founded the Mary Adelaide Leprosy Center, and embraced leprosy stricken people with open arms. While Dr. Pfau's original desire was to help leprosy patients, she soon found out that the disease is just the tip of a deep rooted systemic problem, needing a more holistic approach to rehabilitate both patients and help their families. Dr. Pfau's selfless leadership and her empathy to her patients resulted in 57 years of dedicated work helping people stigmatized by leprosy. Known as the Angel of Karachi by the city's residents and Saint in Action throughout the country, Dr. Pfau led the community to alleviate suffering, which ameliorated the barriers of prejudice and fear above and beyond the divisions created by religion, politics, color, or social status. This is a true narrative of a human centered leadership, and our world needs more leaders like Dr. Ruth. As humans, we are capable of having human centered leadership.